Hello, Durud and Shalom. We be live. My name is Armin Navabi.
And welcome back, everyone. I'm Ali Sawani. And we have a lot to get to today. Saudi Arabia is in a state of panic as their oil infrastructure just took several massive hits, shutting down production of 7 million barrels per day, but oil prices are still down somehow. The United States and the Islamic Republic are continuing to negotiate and talk indirectly with the Foreign Ministry of the Islamic Republic, making some threats as the U.S. continues its blockade and the secret shuttling of ships throughout the night. There's important Russia-Ukraine news to get into as well as tied into Iran as well as the anticipation of Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the White House, which is happening as we speak. With all of that, we will deliver our analysis of the continued collapse of the Islamic Republic through our insider messages and internal state media pieces that we have for you guys, as that is where you might find the greatest value. With that, let's go straight into Saudi Arabia, which is suffering quite heavily. I'm not quite sure why a country like today Saudi Arabia has seen some massive hits across its country, even from the east and west, so both sides. And if you can take a look here on the map right before we get in, there's a pipeline that goes from here to here. Interesting. The pipeline that goes and bypasses the Strait of Hormuz is being targeted by the Houthis, and not only the Houthis. So we'll get into that in just a second. With the biggest piece of news, it seems like the largest Saudi oil refinery has been struck. This is Saudi Aramco's Abqaiq refinery. It's been struck by drones and it's pretty much completely on fire. This produces about 5 to 7% of global oil supply. It's about 7 million barrels per day is what you're looking at in that picture as well. And if you look at the other side of the coast, so that was right here. You guys can see it's right next to Bahrain. It's on the coast of the Persian Gulf. It's right there. Produces about 5% of the world's oil in that tiny little spot. Now, if we go in a straight pipeline, or rather, go all the way to the coast into Yanbu, we also see the Houthis have struck another oil refinery, and actually on the King Fahd highway, you can see the black smoke burning from the fuel storage tanks. This has thrown Saudi Arabia into a massive panic because, as we just said, that's 7 million barrels per day that they just shut down themselves because of risk of further destruction. The Houthis have claimed responsibility, but keep in mind, they're actually really far away from this location here. So that's right there near Bahrain, and the Houthis are all the way down over here. So did they really manage to get a rocket or a missile or a drone all the way over here? Or, how Saudi Arabia believes, is it IRGC-backed militias in the south of Iraq? That's what they're claiming it is. Who really knows? The Iraqis have come out. The Iraqi Islamic resistance claimed it was not them in their usual cowardly fashion. But the very first thing, Armin, guess what the very first thing that Saudi Arabia did in response to this? Right after they shut off their production, who do you think they called?
DC? Trump?
It's a little telling that they called Qatar.
Why?
The first phone call, I don't know.
Oh my God! Are they trying to beg the Islamic Republic to stop? That's why, right?
They talked to Qatar to ask Qatar to tell some certain terrorist militias, or perhaps even the state sponsor of terror, to halt their attacks.
Cowards!
And Armin, can you explain, why a country like Saudi Arabia, which is, one of the richest countries in the world, has not managed to make anything of itself in significance? I mean, what is the petrodollar? How does that work?
Well, first of all, that first question, the first reason why they can't is they're like a trust fund kid. They have money gushing out of the ground, so they never learn to make anything from themselves because because just throw money at stuff, like fix. They just think like everything. Every time there's a problem, they just throw money at it, and hopefully they're wishing something happens. But they don't have basically zero management skills themselves. They haven't learned how to build anything, and that's why they're so incompetent. I guess that's the reason, right? When you have, it's it's true. Lack of resources makes you creative and resourceful. Too much resources means that you're not going to learn anything. That's what it happens.
Like Ukraine.
Right, exactly. Yeah. By the way, we predicted this, Ali, because we said that the Islamic Republic hasn't, the next, remember you asked me what are some of the cards that the Islamic Republic has to play, right? The next card that it has to play, right? We looked at the cards that it had and are less influential right now. The main card that I mentioned that it has that hasn't yet played yet. I mean, it has hit some oil for infrastructure here and there, but the main card that the Islamic Republic has that hasn't played yet is heavy focus on hitting infrastructure, because it's so vulnerable and it's so easy, and the consequences are devastating. All of the infrastructure, oil infrastructure, is just sitting there, and it doesn't take that much to be able to hit them. You don't need to have the best missiles or drones to be able to cause huge financial devastations. To me, this does suggest that the Islamic Republic is predicting something big is about to happen, because this is a card that you're not going to play unless you're trying to deter something huge, right? So to me, because they could have done this before and they didn't. The reason why they're doing it now is because Prime Minister Netanyahu is in Washington, D.C., and I think the Islamic Republic is thinking something big is about to happen. So they're trying to demonstrate their deterrence capability in the best way they can. They say, we could do more of this. They want Saudi Arabia and the Qataris and the Emiratis to use whatever lobby power they have on Washington, D.C. to make them stop. And everybody else that cares about oil prices to put whatever lobby power and whatever leverage they have on Washington, D.C. They know BB is in the White House, is with President Trump right now. They think like the Islamic Republic thinks something huge is about to happen, and they're trying to give a bit of a taste of what they can do. That's what's happening here.
Correct. So Geneva is actually asking, do these sites have air defense systems? No, largely no. The air defense systems cover a specific area, and Saudi has chosen not to protect them. Important oil refineries.
You can't protect. I mean, air defense can't just protect that all area, right? Like you have air defense over a military base. Like zoom out a bit. Yeah, like you have air defense over your military base. You have air defense over some strategic areas. But look at like zoom out all the way. Like the oil infrastructure is all over the place. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, put a Patriot system and an Iron Dome in every corner? That doesn't exist. So this is why this is so vulnerable. Like, that's a huge area. How could you protect all of that? Guys, the reason why Israel's Iron Dome works is because Israel is small, but you cannot just have like an Iron Dome. Like, I mean, Israel doesn't even have one, but like you can't have a defense system that protects all your oil infrastructure.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. The air defense systems cover a specific radius, and they're very precious and they're hard to come by, especially nowadays. It's hard to cover a country that size, as Armin's saying. You got oil infrastructure on the west, on the east, on the west, everywhere in between. It's quite difficult. I actually had a important thing to bring up about Saudi Arabia and the Houthis, and I want to see what you guys thought about this as well. So, for those of you who don't know, the Houthis are a terrorist organization that operate out of Yemen, primarily out of this area right here. And the Houthis were almost destroyed about a year ago by the United States of America and the UK in March 2025. Now, keep in mind, they're a threat against Saudi Arabia the most. And were they kept alive on purpose? The Houthis got trimmed down. They ate over 1,000 strikes. They had most of their members killed, most of their weapons destroyed, and they weren't completely wiped out by the US in 2025. And I looked at that and I thought about something. The Houthis got trimmed down when Saudi was going towards China at the time, but they weren't wiped out. Saudi and China were pretty close. They were talking a lot. And is it possible that the Houthis will continue to be a threat to Saudi Arabia as long as they do not join the Abraham Accords? The US might choose not to destroy them and allow them to operate at some extent there as long as Saudi Arabia does not join the Abraham Accords. Now that Saudi Arabia is going more towards the US, it does seem like the US and Saudi have actually spoken multiple times about dealing with the Houthis, and they're even getting lured in with a nuclear deal that Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, is trying to sign with Donald Trump. So, Armin, do you think that the Houthis are a good little pawn here for the United States, just a little actor that pushes Saudi Arabia towards the US instead of China?
Well, I mean, they're more negative than positive, but that is a side benefit of them, at least for now, right?
Yeah, definitely a benefit.
Like while you have them, you might as well take advantage of them as a threat. Why not, right?
Absolutely. So that's why I think that the Houthis are still there.
Also, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're just keeping them alive for that purpose. I do, because remember, these missiles were not these missiles were not thrown by the Houthis. The Houthis are claiming credit, but they came from Iraq. Didn't they came from Iraq?
So the Saudis are claiming some of them that hit the east portion of their oil came from Iraq. The Iraqi militias came out and said it wasn't us.
So I think this could be the Islamic Republic and just giving the credit to the Houthis just to make people fear.
Can be.
Yeah.
Can be. So here's the thing. Here's what's the result of it, is that the Chinese and Russian ships through the Bab el-Mandeb can actually still go through. I'll show you guys where that is. It's right here, this tiny little area. The Chinese and Russians go through, but it looks like the US, UK, and Saudi ships are being targeted or struck. Now, we've still had a lot of ships go through, but that's been halted. So yesterday was actually the lowest recorded traffic in the Bab el-Mandeb. It was 11 ships. 7 of those were oil tankers and 4 were cargo. These are big ships, but that was a pretty big hit to the security in the area. And we've seen actually insurance prices in the area as a whole jump up massively. So that's one strait over here. If we go look at the other side, we can see that the Strait of Hormuz, the insurance over here has jumped up. And I know many of you guys hate the word insurance. I do too. Maybe you're on it, maybe you're not. Strait of Hormuz insurance jumps to 9%. And you might be wondering, Ali, what does 9% insurance mean? It means everything that you just shipped, take 9% out. The entire value of your ship, 9% of your ship's value is paid as insurance now. That is
what?
Millions and billions.
That's not going to be profitable.
It's not. 9% of your stuff is just gone out the window. Straight
off
the
that
bat.
trade is not going to be possible. That trade is not going to be profitable. 9%
Nope.
of everything I own. Yeah, like no.
And what we see is that because capitalism, these insurance companies never lower their rates unless their arms twisted behind their back. So this is why ship traffic, even after this entire conflict is over, will never return back to normal. It will be too high of a cost for these companies to operate there unless they are offered something to lower their prices. And on a side note, Armin, just looking at the Middle East as a whole here, one thing that I believe is that just as the Houthis are a massive threat against Saudi Arabia, if we look over in Iraq, these Hashd-e-Shabi militias are also the biggest threat to the Iranian people at the moment, in my opinion. I think until we see the Hashd-e-Shabi, the PMF, the Popular Mobilization Front in Iraq, the terrorist militia backed by the IRGC, until they're dealt with, which the deadline is September 30th. So we're actually only a month away, roughly. Sorry, 2 months away exactly. until that happens and they're not able to come into Iran to suppress the Iranian people, I think we're going to be waiting on that final call from Prince Reza Pahlavi. That's one of the triggers, in my opinion. So, as a result of the strikes, we also saw that Prime Minister al-Zaidi will be visiting Saudi Arabia immediately in 3 days to talk to Saudi Arabia about these militias and perhaps even some economic agreements. He's been squeezed on all fronts by the Islamic Republic, by the Saudis. If we can look, Iraq sits pretty much in the middle of absolutely everything and anything in the Middle East: Syria, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Turkey, and they're largely caught in between no matter what. One little quick side note, if you guys are interested about the uprising of the Iranian people, one thing that greatly helped us is this targeting and pulling of Iraq over to the axis of, the orbit of the United States. So destroying the PMF, as I just said, is a key trigger. The hour al-Zaidi signed 19 agreements with the United States in the Oval Office, Pete Hegseth grabbed al-Zaidi, chucked him in a black SUV, took him straight to the Pentagon, and said, look, this is how we're going to discuss removing the militia proxies in Iraq. Hegseth came and tweeted about it. So huge little, isn't that a little like signal to Saudi Arabia? Hey, Iraq just signed all these agreements with us. They're going to help us out, money and this and that. We're going to deal with their militia problem. Saudi Arabia, you should do the same if you want the Houthis gone.
Wait, who's going to deal with their militia problem?
The United States. So what we saw, I've been keeping a really close eye on Iraq to see what they're doing with these militias. So over the past 4 nights, they attacked the PMF, they attacked Kataib, Hezbollah, and other IRGC. They got ambushed. They got casualties. They got forced back from the terrorists.
So you're saying that given that Iraqi prime minister is working so close with, so U.S. military support is going to be conditional. You're not going to be like freeloaders anymore.
Absolutely.
Right? You give us trade, you give us business, we'll bomb some terrorists for you. So Saudi Arabia, take a look at what the services that we're offering for Iraq. It's not free of charge anymore. This is what we want from you, and we'll bomb some Houthis. We'll bomb some Houthis for you, better than anyone else could. But here's the list of our wants before we do that. Like the days that we could just provide you free security services are over, right?
The day of the petrodollar is also over. Then the world is shifting more towards electricity and nuclear than they are to oil because of the age of AI coming around the corner. Oil is becoming less important, electricity more important.
AI-backed dollar.
AI, crypto, like token, crypto, AI.
A lot of chips, right? International trade in chips is in USD. Tech is US. When you say crypto, USDT. Stable coins in general. Ali, have you heard of many stable coins being traded between people that is a euro? Like, have you heard that? No. Like that? Have you? Most stable coins are backed by the US dollars. So the US dollar is not backed by petro anymore. It's backed by so many different things. So we don't need your dirty oil.
Right. And so the US is just trying to maintain its competitive advantage.
Right.
Here's the thing. Let me look back at my note here. So when Hegseth took al-Zaidi to the Pentagon and told him, hey, we're going to deal with your militia problem together by September 30th, we want you guys to go in first and see if you can remove them. Al-Zaidi tried that this past week. Looks like the Iraqi security forces couldn't handle them. They got pushed back. They got ambushed. And that proves a massive, the quiet part out loud, which is the Iraqis cannot deal with these terrorists on their own. Now, they've greatly weakened them. People don't realize this, but when the politicians we saw get arrested in Iraq, you guys remember the pictures of like the gold and the cash and all the money laid out? Guys, why do we need cash and gold? What's the benefit of having hard cash in front of you? What is it used for? What are these corrupt politicians using cash for? There's no bank records. There's no ties. You can't trace it, right? It's untraceable. So you use it for bribes, use it for smuggling, for the paying of the terrorist militias. And al-Zaidi went against a big source of income for these terrorist militias and a huge blow to the IRGC in that area as well. So at the same time, he knocked out a large portion of corruption in Iraq, came to the US, said, hey, I did all this. Now I need your help to finish off the last step. And then as soon as he secured the US's backing, he declared September 30th is your deadline. All terrorists in Iraq, surrender your weapons or we're going to come and destroy you. And Hegseth was like, yeah, with, I'm not surprised Hegseth wants to just go ham on anything. That is the general know about of that. And I think I studied that for about 4 hours last night until 2 a.m., double checking everything and connecting everything there. Because you go in a little rabbit hole and you're just like, oh my God, that's so like, am I discovering something that I'm like, I love learning that part. So it's not looking good for shipping, is it? Shipping is taking a huge downturn. Saudi just cut oil by 7 million barrels per day. Oil dropped down into the 80s. Oil dropped down into the 80s. It was $100 on Thursday. And we told you guys, it's $100. Something has to happen. Something did happen. They started talking. So going back into the map here so you guys can take a look at what's going on. The Bahraini government, some people thought they wouldn't catch on to this, but the Bahraini government is actually going to be holding a joint military exercise with unknown armed forces. So they said it's going to be other Gulf countries. They didn't say which. That's going to be happening tomorrow for the rest of the week. Persian Gulf countries. They said some of them are going to be helping us. That is the first time Bahrain's done that. So why are they doing it right now? Of all times, suspicious times. It's really interesting. And that is the last Gulf.
You think they're working? Bahrain is part of the Abrahamic Accord.
Yeah. And Bahrain actually hosted, Bahrain hosted 3 or 4 weeks ago, they hosted Brad Cooper. They hosted all the leaders of the Persian Gulf country militaries, and they all had a conference in downtown Manama. And we don't know exactly what came of that, but we're seeing after that, the Persian Gulf countries joined in. The Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE actually started joining in on the attacks. Again, all a result of the Islamic Republic targeting these countries. If they didn't do it, these countries wouldn't be pushed towards the United States. And as a result, China has been telling the Islamic Republic, cool it down. You're being a little too violent and stop hitting Saudi because we want Saudi to be on our side. And I don't know what the Islamic Republic responded to them because I don't think it worked. Today they struck again. So we saw the Arab oil in Saudi Arabia get hit once again. Oman. Little Oman. Go down to Muscat here. The Omanis are our new Pakistan. They're our new negotiators here. Okay. Let's take a look at what the status of the negotiations are today, starting off with a statement from Donald Trump, who had a rally in Michigan earlier today, a few hours ago. Let's see what he has to say first.
Right now, they have very friendly negotiations going on. And by the way, how good is our Navy with a blockade? Now one boat gets in. We have a blockade. They'd love us to say, please, we don't want the blockade anymore. They're saying, please, please, no blockade. And I approve the single largest.
So, looks like that is what's pissing off the Islamic Republic to a large extent. That is making the Islamic Republic so mad that Baghai, the foreign ministry spokesperson, came out and said and started complaining and moaning about this blockade. And then he also started projecting. He projected so hard. He actually starts saying here, I'll just tell you what he says. He starts saying that we didn't break the MOU. The United States broke one piece of the MOU and they focused on that one piece of the MOU and called off the MOU. It wasn't our fault. We were doing everything we could. It was the US's fault. Then he goes out to lash out at Ukraine as well, but we'll get into that a little bit later. The next thing is from the Omanis. So the Omanis in this picture, we'll go back here, are the ones that are going back and forth with the Islamic Republic, and they're trying to play both sides. They're not the good guys here. They're basically coming in and saying, hey, listen, as long as you guys agree to have your northern route, we'll have our southern route. And the Islamic Republic got back to the Omanis and told them there ain't going to be no southern route. There's only going to be a northern route. So it looks like the negotiations have yet again stalled, dead in their tracks, at least according to what we know. There might be some private messages exchanged between Witkoff, Adokchi, and the like that we don't know of, but that's all we do know of so far. In addition to that, the Khatam al-Anbiya, which is the central headquarters of the IRGC, has said, from this hour onward, any military action by the US to impose and enforce a naval blockade against Iran will be considered a war action, and we will respond to it. We did get to see their response to that because, according to Shin, as I can pull this up right here, Shin reported a few different things to that. So the Islamic Republic is already breaking this sort of, I don't even know if you want to call it ceasefire or not, by launching an almost all-out attack against Iraq, against Erbil. In addition to that, Shin also reported, and this is directly from people in the area he gets this information from, 2 blasts were heard in Bandar Abbas tonight from the seaside. Whenever we hear that, we know that the Islamic Republic has fired rockets, missiles, or drones at ships in the Persian Gulf, transiting the Strait of Hormuz. So I haven't heard anything about a ship getting hit yet. This just happened quite recently. I think, let me just look. This was about 40 minutes ago. So until that information gets to us, we will have to verify. Armin, what if they hit a ship? What's going to happen if they hit a ship here?
You know what? I actually think that United States might be not interested in the tit for tat. You hit a ship, we respond. There might be big right now. They might be planning like holding back, like okay, ship, yeah, got it. Maybe small response. I think they're actually planning. I think that here's the thing. I think the pause and mentioning the interceptors and everything else is a preparation for something bigger. You know, this is deja vu. Isn't this deja vu, Ellie? Remember when before February 28th? When there was a report that an attack is happening, right? Right after the January uprising of the Iranian people. And everything showed that an attack is imminent. And then it stopped. And then we said that it probably stopped. Israel convinced the United States to stop because they ended up planning something bigger. And boy, were we right. February 28th, they came with something much bigger than original plan. So they were supposed to, the Americans were supposed to do a major attack on Friday, right? But it didn't happen because it wasn't big enough, I think. And I think Prime Minister Netanyahu might be in Washington, D.C., planning something bigger than what they originally planned. Might be that, just like what happened in February 28th. What do you think?
That's correct. Benjamin Netanyahu is currently talking to Donald Trump right now. So it'll be 6 p.m. East Coast time. And I think Donald Trump has finished his Michigan rally going back to the White House, where Benjamin Netanyahu will be awaiting him. He's already come out and said, the Prime Minister of Israel already came out and said, this is about Iran. I'm coming here just to talk to Trump about Iran. I'm not going to try and convince him of anything. I'm going to try and see what he says, what he thinks. There's 2 ways that this goes. Trump tells Bibi, hey, sit this one out. We're going to hit the Islamic Republic just to a certain extent. We're not going to wipe them out, just a certain extent. And you're going to sit this one out. Or the U.S. has decided to go all out, and he's going to tell Bibi, hey, make preparations this weekend. Next weekend, we're going at it. We're going to finish them off.
So, and also this is not our calculation. I think this is also the Islamic Republic's understanding. Rightly or wrongly, the Islamic Republic thinks that something big is about to happen. I mean, if you were the Islamic Republic, what would you do right now? You will try to demonstrate to everybody, look what I could do, stop them before, like they're not going to listen. Bibi doesn't care what I do, but I want everyone else to see what could happen if these like Islamic Republic, like, hey, everybody, the world, Europe, Japan, Korea, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, use your lobbies, everybody. I'm about to go ape shit. I'm about to do something crazy. Look at what I could do. The bombing in Saudi Arabia is a warning to everybody to stop United States and Israel from what they're about to do. Stop them for me. Look at what I could do.
Yeah. If Israel joins in, what you're going to see, ladies and gentlemen, is another layer of IRGC leadership down the drain. You're going to see extensive bombings all across the country. The United States has the capability to conduct 24-hour operations. The extent of this all-out operation is going to be nothing that you guys have seen in modern history. No air campaign in modern history, save for maybe World War II bombing runs, will be this extensive. And that is something that all military analysts are on board with if that option is chosen. It's not just me saying that. As for the infrastructure of Iran, here's two scenarios as to what happens in infrastructure. One, it's hit, it's taken out. But it's hit in a way where it's not completely wiped off the face of the map. It's hit in specific areas. It's able to be repaired in a couple of months. But emergency teams will have to get into Iran immediately afterwards. Or two, the infrastructure, and the one that I'm leaning towards more, is that the infrastructure is not touched. Not at all. They'll hit railroad lines, they'll hit bridges, but they're not going to wipe out the electrical grid, the power plants. The reason they'll hit the railroads and the bridges to stop the IRGC from being able to transport troops, from east, west, north to south, and that gives them immense pressure on the IRGC to be able to suppress the Iranian people. When you see that, you know that the most amount of pressure the U.S. can inflict is happening at that moment on the IRGC, and that will be the day that the Iranian people know their freedom is coming closer at hand. Armin, what happens if the IRGC cannot transport troops from the northwest of Iran to the southeast of Iran? What happens then? Are the IRGC forces in each town and city enough to suppress the people in that area?
And not if there's a major uprising in multiple places in Iran at the same time.
Correct.
There's two things that is going to make the Islamic Republic very vulnerable. If there is a ground operation in southern Iran, they will not be able to mobilize forces to go fight against them. And if they even do, then they're not going to be able to, if there's an uprising in Tehran while they're busy in the south, they're not going to be able to, I mean, it's a logistical nightmare, right? They're going to have to worry about. Here's an interesting thing, Ali. If they destroy bridges and other infrastructure that makes their logistics difficult, even if the war stops for a while and the uprising starts, that vulnerability of the Islamic Republic stays. They're still not going to be able to move troops around fast enough, because this is key. The Islamic Republic doesn't have enough resources to fight back against a national uprising unless they could focus on one area really fast and then focus on another area. Like if a major uprising happens everywhere while they're busy with the Americans and not able to move around efficiently, this is going to be devastating, especially given
Correct.
that they already lost a lot of their bases, a lot of their command structure, a lot of their intelligence networks, and everything behind the scene that goes into this.
Absolutely. So For those of you who have lived in Iran, or for those of you who have not, when you live there, you live in a certain town, neighborhood, you know exactly who is IRGC, you know who's with the Islamic Republic, and you know who's not. And you know that for a fact, over 90% of the population want the Islamic Republic out. It's not like it's a 50-50, 40-60. It's overwhelming 9-to-1 ratio. In the Basij, the suppressive forces are only in the hundreds of thousands. They're about 400,000, or they were 400,000 before all this kicked off. And what happens when a town of 20,000 people who has, maybe 100, maybe 200 Basij in there, there's no way. There's no way they can get. That town is going to fall. The reason why it didn't last time is because they were able to have reinforcements. Now, the major stage, Tehran, is a different story. That's going to be a different story, and that's going to have to be dealt with differently. You're going to have air support and drones and weapons and etc. for that. But simply cutting off the supply lines and a reinforcement for the IRGC to other cities and towns is going to be the crippling blow in terms of the people's uprising there. Let's take a look at what some Americans, like Mark Levin, are pushing for on that exact front.
Ooh. Beautiful.
Iran to rise up, to give them some of what they need, some of the training and some of the arms. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should declare a Iranian government in exile. And so if the Shah came up and he would be willing to concede that if he were to return, he would have elections within a year or two and swear to that. And then we would deal with the exile, some type of exile government, and just ignore the theocracy and say, we're not going to talk to them, and make them pay for any damage they do with the funds that we've confiscated and frozen.
I think that's a great idea, by the way. And I've talked to that man once or twice offline, and he seems like a very serious man who wants what's best for his people. He's really not interested in power. And he's a very intelligent, civil person, and so forth and so.
What do you think?
That is huge. That is huge. First of all, this just happened like just a few hours ago, and you could see it already has been subtitled with Persian because the Iranian people are celebrating that segment. That is
Correct.
Huge news for the Iranian people, and this is being celebrated by the Iranian people. This is one of the closest people to President Trump, fully endorsing Princess of Pahlavi and encouraging full support of the Americans of Princess of Pahlavi. And not just that, not just full support, recognizing a government in exile by the prince and his team for the Iranian people. This might be a sign that they're paving the way to prepare people's minds for something that has already been decided.
These are the first steps we're seeing in us having the U.S. government go towards Prince Reza Pahlavi. And you know what's interesting? They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
There is no one else. Even if the U.S. government wanted to choose someone else, there is no one else. There's the MEK. They're Marxist and Islamist. What's the difference between them and the Islamic Republic in the eyes of most people around the world? Nothing. We know the difference. We know that there's no end at which they would go to suppress and kill the Iranian people as well. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad to see that.
Yes. Me too. This is big news. And some people saying the audio was low. I have one with English subtitles.
Sweet, thank you.
And I think it might be a little bit louder, but let's listen to this one, especially the government in exile part.
To rise up.
So, guys, if the audio is low, just look at the English subtitle.
Iran to rise up, to give them some of what they need.
To give them some of what they need.
Some of the training.
Exactly.
To give him, he's saying, give him some of the training, give him some of the weapons. You can play it. I'll just, for anyone who can't really read it, I'll just kind of summarize what they're saying.
Okay. Let me just play it through one time, and then you could add.
The audio is really low.
Some of the arms.
Is it? Okay. You're right.
some of the training and some of the arms. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should declare a Iranian government in exile. And if the Shah came up and he would be willing to concede that if he were to return, he would have elections within a year or two and swear to that. And then we would deal with the exile, some type of exile government, and just ignore the theocracy and say, we're not going to talk to them, and make them pay for any damage they do with the funds that we've confiscated and frozen.
I think that's a great idea.
Wait, hold on. I didn't have the audio fully up. Sorry, guys. Let me go back.
Oh, okay.
And to rise up, to give them some of what they
I do
need,
too.
some of the training and some of the arms. Go ahead.
Oh, this is the same
I
video,
think we
just
should-
without the Iranian subtitles.
I know, but I think this is a fuller version of it. Let's just go through it once and
Declare a Iranian government in exile. And if the Shah came up and he would be willing to concede that if he were to return, he would have elections within a year or two and swear to that. And then we would deal with the exile, some type of exile government, and just ignore the theocracy and say, we're not going to talk to them, and make them pay for any damage they do with the funds that we've confiscated and frozen.
I think that's a great idea, by the way. And I've talked to that man once or twice offline, and he seems like a very serious man who wants what's best for his people. He's really not interested in power. And he's a very intelligent civil person and so forth and so on. But I like that idea. And I think that what you just mentioned would scare the hell out of this regime. I really do. Because then the people actually have a way to focus and organize.
Yeah, we can use the money that we've frozen because, as people said, if they're still going to try to hit ships, we're not going to unfreeze their money. We'll turn it over to a government in exile, and they can bank it for when they return and help the Iranian people. But we have to have some kind of pledge that they will go to a consensual government. I think he will do that. He said that. The son of the Shah has.
Amen. We'll be right back.
So, Ali, didn't I say a couple of months ago they should take over some of the oil tankers and just give it to the army, the new army of the Iranian people led by Princes of Pahlavi? Wasn't that exactly what we said on the show months ago? Like months ago.
Yep. Take the oil tankers, pay the Americans to train us, arm us, fight the Islamic Republic. We can liberate ourselves before this conflict is made a bigger conflict and more countries are drawn in with their own objectives and it gets complicated, potential triggers for a world war to happen as well. We can absolutely do this. We can absolutely do this on our own.
This is a big deal, guys. The fact that on Fox News, Mark Levin, President Trump's favorite commentator, is now fully endorsing a plan that we have been advocating for months. By the way, humble brag, Mark Levin basically made my Arm Us campaign go viral by quote tweeting 2 of my tweets from Iranian people asking to be armed. So this is great. Yeah.
Let me tell them what you did. So guys, Armin asked people in Iran to put up signs or hold, signs and notes saying arm us. He posted on Twitter and it got picked up by everyone. Everyone started retweeting it, resharing it. Mark Levin shared it. It's hundreds and thousands. I don't know if maybe it was like 1 million views even. And everyone started picking up on that and being like, oh, hey, maybe we should arm the Iranian people. And here you see, a few weeks later, Mark Levin sees that more of a possibility than he did before. And he's been advocating nonstop for the Iranian people. So honestly, Mark Levin, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate what you've been doing. He's a great guy.
Ali Inside Iran just posted this comment saying 4 people are going to die in 2 hours and I can't do shit about it. Ali, can you send me on Telegram, send me a link to this so we could highlight this?
Yeah. Yes, please. Thank you. I think it's time to get into the Islamic Republic news, and it's not looking so good for them. We also have alligrams for you guys. We have the messages from the Islamic Republic supporters, but the headline today in the newspapers in Iran are about corruption, but not just any corruption. It's a huge scandal. the Islamic Republic has come out and said and blamed foreign companies and even internal people that they used to have for fleeing the country and taking millions and billions of dollars with themselves that they were supposed to give to the Islamic Republic. That's what happens when you run a corrupt mafia. You have these, corrupt oil moguls in the Islamic Republic who saw their opportunity to leave the country, take all the money and the profits with them, and not give it back. So the Islamic Republic is extremely pissed. They actually launched about 60 criminal cases against these people and companies today, handling billions of dollars. So again, these companies have, and these are big companies. They have about 20,000 employees. They have about 94 billion euros in foreign currency obligations, and etc. The Islamic Republic is not so happy. Looks like some of them are starting to jump ship, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. A lot of these rich people, in terms of in charge of the oil there, I'm out. It was nice knowing you guys. I think the U.S. is about to attack. I'm out, and I'm taking my millions with me. Let's pop over to the state media and see what one of these ayatollahs is saying on TV about the supreme leader. You may have seen this, Armin, but just in case you didn't, take a listen.
نمود فتنه اینه که امام ما نائب امام ما غائب بشه و مجبور باشیم که غیبتش رو تن بدیم. این فتنه است. عدم رعایت عزت و حکمت در تشخیص مصلحت، این فتنه است.
این غائب بودن امام اثر چیه؟ اثر مصلحت دیگه.
میخوام عرض بکنم.
یعنی امنیت ایجاب میکنه که ایشون
من الان تو این مقطع امروزی که من و شما با هم صحبت میکنیم فقط موضوع صحبت هم نیست. الان به هر حال شرایط امنیتی باید هم از ایشون محافظت بشه. ولی من میگم این قراره تا کی ادامه پیدا کنه؟ 6 ماه، 1 سال، 5 سال، 10 سال.
تا زمانی که ما
یعنی
عواملش رو از بین ببریم.
اگر شرایط ناامنی سایه جنگ قرار باشه بر سر کشور استمرار پیدا بکنه، اون وقت نه امنیت داریم، نه رفاه داریم، نه آسایش داریم، نه اماممون رو میتونیم ببینیم. همیشه باید در موضع ضعف و در موضع انفعال باشیم و جبهه مقاومت هم رو به تصدیق.
Great points, Mr. Ayatollah. Armin, what is the point he's bringing up here?
He's basically admitting that they don't have their imam. They can't see their imam. He's missing. They have no peace. They have no security. They have no prosperity. Everything is crap. That's what he's saying. And he's saying for how long this situation is going to last in these wartime conditions, right? So this is on state TV, played by the Islamic Republic, and Mullah is admitting that they have been defeated, that they have achieved nothing, and not only that, they can't even see their imam. He's upset about not being able to see their imam, which is Mujtaba, the most, because under the theology of the guardianship of the jurist, the whole point of the Wali Faqih, the guardianship of the jurist, is to be present because the 12 imam, the Mahdi, is hidden. So the person who is supposed to be present when the Mahdi is hidden can't be hidden himself, right? So that's why I think that's why he's butthurt over the fact that Mujtaba is missing. But this video is key, guys, because we have some anti-imperialist, anti-Zionist garbage people, so-called anti-imperialists, come here, and they keep saying that, oh, like you guys are losing, we're winning, the Islamic Republic is winning this. Well, state TV of the Islamic Republic has a mullah admitting that you're not. So there you go.
Oops. Whoopsie.
Whoopsies.
That's one side of the Islamic Republic. And so for anyone saying interpretation, Armin just explained it. If you go back like 1 minute, you'll see. He's just complaining. He's just saying, we got nothing. We don't even see our imam. How long is this supposed to go on for? We lost. That is one side of Iran, which is the current regime, the Islamic Republic. Let's take a look at the other side of Iran, the alternative that we could possibly have here. Today, as I told you guys before, so last night when I told you guys it was Iran time, right now it's also today for us, so yesterday for Iran. 46 years. This is Prince Reza Pahlavi, and he's going to talk about his father, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, the last king of Iran. He said, 46 years have passed since my father's passing, which is today. But he remains today the most vibrant political figure in the eyes of history and the heart of Iranians. The flame of the Iranian nation's love for him grows brighter and more radiant with each passing day, which is completely true. As Majid Reza Rahnavard wrote in his immortal ode on behalf of millions of Iranian youth, quote, "A generation fell in love with you, though it never laid eyes on you. My father loved Iran with every fiber of his being. His heartbeat in rhythm with the nature of this land and the falling of rain on Iran's plains was, for him, the finest and most beautiful news. At the age of 22, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi took over a country mired in the dire circumstances of Allied occupation. And by relying on patriotism, he guided Iran towards the gates of great civilization. Had the catastrophe of 1979 not derailed our history's course, Iran today would be one of the world's most brilliant poles of prosperity and development. My fellow countrymen, if we believe in his path, a grave responsibility rests upon our shoulders. To stay true to his vision, we must reclaim Iran from this vile sect and rebuild it anew. Payende Iran."
Beautiful.
Again, I will we'll pull up that picture that we showed you guys yesterday about the picture of Prince Reza Pahlavi, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. Was it 2 days ago? Where is it? I know I have it here somewhere. Okay, well, no problem. Yeah, it's such a tragedy what happened to the Pahlavi dynasty. I mean, the first Shah, Reza Shah, was exiled by the Allies. The US, the UK, the French, was exiled from Iran, died in exile. His son, Mohammad Reza Shah, was forced to take power at 22. 22-year-old is younger than me when he took control of Iran. And from then, Armin, did he make any mistakes while he ruled? And what were those mistakes compared to his benefits?
Well, here's an interesting question, because so many people who love Mohammad Reza Shah, they say he made one mistake. And I'm wondering what you think about this, okay? I mean, nobody's perfect, but
I also have one criticism. I think we actually might think the same thing about it.
Well, I'm not saying this is my criticism. I'm just telling you what
mine.
People. Okay, this is the criticism that most people who love him have. And I wonder what your response to it is. They say that he should have came down so much harder on the mullahs. He should have just been more brutal. He should have crushed the revolution like his generals advised him. He was so soft on the mullahs and the revolution. He could have crushed them, and he did it because he was just too kind. That's the main criticism that they have of Mohammad Reza Shah. What would you say to that?
That would not be my criticism. I think I understand why people say that completely. And there's no way for him or anyone at that time to have known just how destructive the Islamic Republic would have been to Iran. They didn't have the foresight. They didn't have the exact foresight of just how bad it would get. That's not my criticism. I think it was hard to predict the future. I think even if he had cracked down on them, Islam would have continued to ravage Iran for forever, probably at that point. Would have been deeply ingrained into society as well. The poison that it is. That's what I think about that.
So I want to hear your criticism as well, but I want to defend Mohammad Reza Shah against this attack. Mohammad Reza Shah was told by his generals that we could just give us the order, we'll end this uprising. Easy. Like we'll just shoot in the crowds and it will be over. And Mohammad Reza Shah responded that if I have to rule by spilling Iranian blood, I'd rather not rule at all. Those were his famous words in response to that. And he left Iran. And a lot of people say we wish that he just did what the generals told him. But he was not that kind of a person. He was a very kind person. Some people say too kind. Every day when he woke up, he would look at the weather report. Every day, because he wanted to see if it's raining, because he was worried about Iranian farmers. Every day, that was the first thing he did, because he was always concerned about the farmers. Mohammad Reza Shah was a man that went, there's videos of this, to the farthest corners in Iran, in the most faraway villages. He would sit in classes, in schools, to watch the teachers teach, to see the quality. This is the Shah, this is the king of the country, just showing up in a school, sitting in a class, watching the teachers teach to see how good the quality of education is. He had a plan to get the best teachers from all across Iran, record them, have a satellite TV that plays this all for free everywhere in Iran. That was his plan. He was way ahead of his time. He's the man that the person who shot him to try to assassinate him, he forgave him and set him free. Like when they brought him to him, and he asked the general right next to him, what should I do to him? And the guy said, you should execute him to make an example out of him. And he looked at the guy and said, I forgive you. And that man became one of the greatest, most loyal supporters of Mohammad Reza Shah.
Yes.
So but the thing is, I think, but let me just defend. Like I want to defend what he did. The reason he just loved the Iranian people so much, and we were ungrateful. We didn't know what we had. He was way ahead of our time. But what I think he understood is that you cannot force people to progress. You cannot force people to progress. They have to want it themselves. And now we do want it. We didn't, it's true that he did have many supporters, but they remained silent when he needed them the most. They were silent. They didn't come into his defense. They didn't want him bad enough.
That's the biggest crime.
Now the Iranian people want Pahlavi more than when Pahlavi ruled over Iran. Now the Iranian people want Pahlavi today more than when Pahlavi ruled over Iran, because now they understand. Now they understand the values that work. Now they understand what doesn't work and what works. And the Iranian people need to mature. You cannot have a Shah that rules over the people who don't understand what works. The people need to understand, and now they do. And the Shah understood that. Just because he has a great vision, you cannot force the people to come with you. They have to want it, and they have to want it bad. Also, one more thing, the support for Islam back then was so high, right? So, and the Shah understood that. You could have, he was much more aggressive against communism. He couldn't be as aggressive against the mullahs. They had much more popular support back then among people, and now they don't. And now the Iranian people hate both communism and Islam. But go on, Eddie.
Absolutely. I agree, and I think what you just said about you can't force people to accept change was exactly the problem that the Iranian people presented to our dear Shah. That was the problem. That was his downfall. My criticism of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, as much as I love him, is one simple thing. I wish he was more transparent. He was the type of father to prefer you to learn about what he's doing without him telling you. For you to come to him and say, Dad, what are you doing? Teach me. Instead of for him to come to you and say, look at what I'm doing, learn. He wanted to make an example. He could have been a little bit more transparent with the immense progress that he was bringing to Iran. And I think people were not grateful at all and did not realize what they had. That generation still has not, most of them have still not, admitted their mistake. The ones in Iran, they have not admitted their mistake. The ones who did left Iran, like my parents.
You know, your criticism of Mohammad Reza Shah is his son's criticism. You know, how do I know the story of Mohammad Reza Shah waking up every morning and looking at the weather, like report to see if it's raining for the farmers or not? Because Prince Reza Pahlavi said that the Iranian people never got to see that side of him. You know, one thing that people don't know about Mohammad Reza Shah, he was very kind, but he was also a bit shy, because he was always comparing himself to his father, Reza Shah, and his father was a military man, and he thought that he needs to show strength, like he wanted to show strength, right? He didn't want to. He was so kind and sympathetic, but sometimes he didn't want to demonstrate that too much, because he didn't want to, like, compared to his father, he always felt like he has to show a strong, like, I don't know, iqtidar, I don't know how to, authority. He has to show authority, right? And his son, Prince Reza Pahlavi, I saw him in an interview saying that the Iranian people back then never got to see this kinder, gentle side of him that we saw all the time, right? And he didn't want to show, like, like everything he did shows how much he loved the Iranian people, but it wasn't, he didn't make that out, he didn't show it. He didn't show it to the Iranian people. And Prince Reza Pahlavi said that I wish he would just allow people to see that, and he didn't. I mean, there was many signs of it, but these are things that, you know, my parents and my grandparents didn't know about Shah when he was alive. They were living with the Shah, and they didn't know about the Shah, and they learned this about the Shah after the Shah. They knew none of this, and they're so shocked. They're like, this was our Shah? Like, the younger generation understands the Shah that our parents and our grandparents had more than they did, even though they were living with him. This is why, but Ali, some people in Iran do chant. This is one of the famous chants in Iran. ما اشتباه کردیم که انقلاب کردیم. Have you heard that chant?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, people chant in the streets sometimes in Iran during uprisings that we made a mistake, that we did the revolution.
Hard to know the value of something until it's gone. He was extremely tough on everyone else except for internal Iranians. He was extremely tough on the Palestinians. He was extremely tough on communism, extremely tough on the US, on the UK, on the French, on everyone. He projected strength. And some say too much. Some say that was his problem, is that he gathered too much power. I think he had the 5th most powerful military at the time. The Iranian passport was also, like, I think 7th or 8th in the world. Jimmy Carter put back the world, I think, 100 years. Put the Middle East back 100 years, if not more. Easily. All because of Jimmy Carter deciding to overthrow or help overthrow the Shah of Iran. All right. We hope you guys liked that portion about Mohammad Reza Shah. That's our tribute to him on the day of his passing. with that, we still have some news to get into for you guys here. There's going to be some important stuff coming up, but let's first see what Trump said in his rally today as well. He talked about Venezuela and he talked about Iran. A little interesting comparison that he made here. I want to see what you guys think about that.
And Venezuela's been great. They've been doing a great job. We're working with them, take millions and millions of barrels of oil, but they're doing well and we're doing well. One day, you know, a lot of people were against that war. We don't want the Venezuela. What are you doing? What are you doing? After we won in about 48 minutes approximately. They said, oh, that was a good move. Well, the same thing's happening in Iran. People just don't see it. We have destroyed.
Same thing's happening in Iran. People just don't see it. Interesting thing to say. What do you guys think?
Yeah, people are too quick to judge. Way too quick to judge.
So the same thing's happening in Iran. Let's take a look at what's happening in Iran with a closer look here, and some other countries. So we can actually see that the United States is still continuing its operations. Not only is there a massive airlift, which we'll get into in just a second, but if you guys look at the Persian Gulf on the bottom right, there are many tankers active in the area. Guys, do you remember what we discovered first before anyone else on this on YouTube? We discovered I took a look at Chinese satellites. I saw that the ships were actually moving through. The Chinese were using this advanced AI with the Mizar satellite. And these refueling tankers are pretty much a confirmation that the United States is still conducting nighttime operations to get ships through the Strait of Hormuz with their transponders off. The airlift, though, I'm going to show you guys a clip of the airlift since Friday. So since we decided to talk, this is what it looks like between Europe and the Middle East. So the planes here will exit in the top left. They'll go to the United States, get more supplies before coming into the European bases. This is a time lapse. We're on July 24th. Now we're on the 25th. I'm just going to speed this up for you guys a little bit here. But you can pretty much see all of these military planes. These are all just military planes, nothing else. It's just a Congo line in the past 3 days. This is what's been going on. Is it over yet? Are the people before February 28th saying the same things? Yes. Are we seeing the same type of equipment being flown into the Middle East? Yes. Do the differences between the Islamic Republic and the United States and Israel remain the same? Yes. Are they going to be solved? No. Are the proxies still a threat to most countries in the Middle East? Yes. Who can destroy the proxies? The United States. Are they going to do it for free? No. They're going to take something. And the petrodollar isn't enough for them anymore. With that, let's show you guys what's happening here. A little bit of a skerfuffle, as people say, between Ukraine and the Islamic Republic. The foreign minister of the Islamic Republic has come out and said something towards the Ukrainians. Armin, did you see what he said? He said, Zelensky has attacked an Iranian commercial vessel, killing a sailor. A blatant UN charter violation done at Israel's behest to drag Europe into a war. In calls with the European Union High Representative and Foreign Minister of the Russian Federation, Lavrov, we made clear that the freeloader in Kiev, what he did cannot go unanswered. It's got 4 million views, posted yesterday. And pretty much the foreign minister of Ukraine came out and basically told him to shut up, saying that Iran has no standing to pretend to be a victim, let alone justify its threats. I mean, the sheer audacity of Arachi to come out and say the UN charter violation. There is a slew, guys. If I told you guys, we won't be cursing anymore, I would be slewing so many insults and curses at him right now. The sheer gall on this guy. But there is a good point here. So Iran is trying to shift attention away from Russia's terror against civilian shipping. That's what Russia wants the Islamic Republic to do. But at the same time, the Islamic Republic is selling drone parts to the Russian Federation and buying weapons in turn. And that's being stopped by the Russians, as was confirmed by Zelensky today. Zelensky met with the UK Prime Minister, of all people. And he is getting a whole lot of new support from the United Kingdom. If Nail Bunny's here, if anyone's well versed in the UK politics, I'm actually really curious. I haven't had the time to look into this. The UK just did a 180. The UK just went and, you know, they replaced their prime minister, Armin. Keir Starmer out, this guy on the left in, and all of a sudden he's like, United States, you want to use Diego Garcia? Go for it. You want to use all our Fairford base? Go for it. That's why the B-1 bombers started being used. He's like, Ukraine, you need that 90 billion euros? Be my guest. Please go ahead. And he's also saying this.
As a sign of our intent, I can announce today that we are going further. We're providing new, homegrown jamming technology to protect Ukrainian drones. It will help them to hit their targets and help save Ukrainian lives. It also shows the kind of innovation our industries can deliver to.
This technology, along with Patriot missile interceptors of the version 2 and 3, are going to be given to Zelensky, although he, you know, is quite a greedy man, as much as I like him, and wants more and more. Good for him. He is in a good spot. Zelensky's in a good spot, and we'll give you guys a quick little update on the Russian war here in terms of that. So before we give you the troop movements that's about to happen in a couple months here, let's take a look at what the largest, one of the largest state.
Before you go to the next, I just want to say something about the Ukraine stuff. This is probably a trap, and I think the Islamic Republic knows it's a trap, but I don't know if they could avoid it. So we already covered this. The fact that the Caspian Sea has been used by the Russians to bring drone parts to the Islamic Republic. And now Ukraine is hitting the ships, carrying them. Thank you, Slava Ukrainia. But they didn't just hit them, they announced it. Ali,
Yeah.
why would they announce it? Why would they announce it? Like, why not just hit it? Why, like, hey, this was us, everyone in the world, this was us. You know what happens when you announce it? Then that means that the Islamic Republic is forced to respond. Why would they want? Because if they didn't announce it, the Islamic, for example, when Saudi was hitting inside in Iran, they didn't announce it. So the Islamic Republic allowed the Islamic Republic not to respond because there is plausible deniability. Why would Ukraine make it so to force the Islamic Republic to have to respond?
To draw them in to the war.
Because they want in on this, right? And the Islamic Republic, I saw so many messages by the pro-regime people, like, don't fall for it. They're
Yeah.
They're dragging us in. Don't fall for it. And then, But the thing is that if you don't respond, let's say, for example, the Islamic Republic, like, okay, they're dragging us in, let's not respond. Then what would happen? Then Ukraine can hit again. Like, oh, really? So I can hit stuff and you're not going to respond?
Yep.
I'll just hit again. That means that I have complete immunity to take whatever I want. So, and if that happens, then Islamic Republic is going to look pathetic that they didn't respond the first time. And then, by the way, this has been Israel and Ukraine working with each other, which is beautiful, because Israel and Ukraine haven't been this close because of the Russian connection to Israel, right? But they're getting closer, and Israel, the Islamic Republic's understanding is this is Israel's way to drag not just Ukraine, but Europe, like NATO members, into this war.
Correct.
And it so they don't want to respond, but by publicly announcing it, it kind of looks really weak if they don't.
Absolutely.
And And also, this is scary. Ukrainians are killing 1,500 Russian soldiers a day. These are not the type of people you want to mess with. So this is scary for the Islamic Republic. But yeah, go on.
Correct. So actually this week, I think it was about 2 nights ago, the Ukrainians launched 1,000 drones into Russia. For those of you who don't understand the size of Russia, it is quite massive. The strikes took place from along the Russian border with Ukraine all the way over here. So that's about, I think it was what, 2,000 or so, a little bit more. I could be getting the numbers wrong, but it was thousands of kilometers long. The Russians are getting hammered to the point where one of their largest banks, largest state-owned bank, this report came out on Russian channels today, which is saying that one of their largest banks is having the same problem the Islamic Republic is having. They don't got any more money in their bank. People are showing up, trying to pull out cash at the ATM. No can do. We got no more. A lot of people are blaming Putin for taking the money in the banks of the people and using it to fund his new war effort, which will be, according to Zelensky, in October. The Russian Federation is set to have elections in September, and Zelensky believes that the Russians will launch a 300,000-man offensive into Ukraine in October. I'm keeping an eye on that for sure as that comes out. Now you can notice Romania, there's also a marker here. Now, what did Romania do, or what did happen to Romania? So Romania pulled a kind of a little funny here. You guys take a look at these. Does anyone know what this is? What are these? This picture kind of gave it away there. These are fragments of Shahed drones. The Russians launched 3 Shahed drones this week into Romania. Guys, Romania is here, right below Ukraine. That's Russia, that's Ukraine, that's Romania. Romania's had to intercept 3 Shahed drones this week, and they're not so happy. They actually summoned the Russian representative in their country. It's unclear if it was the ambassador or not, and actually chewed him out right then and there. They actually gave him the evidence. They're like, they said to the Russian representative, "Hey man, did you launch drones into our country, Romania?" And the guy was like, no, I did not. And they're like, "Oh, really? What are these then?" And they showed him the evidence right there on the table of the Shahed drones. And then they expelled him from the country right after this meeting. So kind of a little cool based move from Romania there. What was not cool about it, though, is that they actually ended up spending $1.3 million to intercept 3 Shahed drones. Shahed drones are worth in the tens of thousands each. Depending on the variant, it could be $20,000 to $70,000, depending on the variant. They had to pick up F-16s, put them in the air, and launch missiles, which costed about $400,000 each to destroy these 3 Shahed drones. So Romania has now realized, and so is you guys, that the age of drone technology and AI is taking over, and the age of missiles, which the IRGC has a lot of, is going down the drain. Just want to showcase that for you guys real quick. Speaking of missiles, let's go down into Iraq, where we can see around the city of Basra, something quite sneaky took place that just got found out recently. So, what are you guys going to do if there's a little container in the desert? I mean, look at that. That is literally just a container. If those missile launchers weren't sticking out of it, which they normally aren't, I mean, the tarp is pulled back. Guys, driving through the desert, seeing a little container like that, how in the world are you going to know that's a literal missile launcher? I mean, it even says international transport with the company on the side of it. And then boom, lo and behold, you pull back the doors, you unravel the tarp on the top, and you see a missile launcher come out of it. And this is to showcase to you guys that that's how much of a problem this is. You can hide these missile launchers in anything, in a warehouse, in a container, in everything, maybe even a porta potty. I don't know at this point. And that's a huge issue for the United States military to locate all these launchers. So that may be why, you know, it's taking a little bit longer here. Sweet. So you guys have been wondering, we showed you a couple videos and clips from inside the Islamic Republic about how even on their state media, they're falling apart. Well, let's actually take a look to see what people inside the Islamic Republic in their own, what they thought to be safe little group chats are saying. It's time for Alligrams, where I go in and I take a look at the Islamic Republic supporters and what they say in their little Telegram channels. Here it is. And our first one is from Tara. Tara is saying something about the negotiations here. The country was destroyed every time they sat down at the negotiating table, and each time the enemy, the United States, was given the opportunity to prepare themselves better. No negotiation table has ever been in Iran's favor. They broke their promise. The negotiation table is valuable to Iran, as in the Islamic Republic honors it. And as the Islamic Republic doesn't want to pay ransom or assassinate anyone, they can strike whenever they want and not strike again. They're talking about the US now. So such a table is useful for pulling the enemy out of the cold. Let's put it back in Farsi in case anyone wanted to read it again. I agree, Tara. You know, I think take your advice here. Let's go straight back to the fighting. I mean, start launching your missiles and drones. Give the United States a reason to finish you off. I still don't get how they think that this could possibly work for them, but at least they're waking up to the idea that negotiations are to their detriment. We have another one, if it would decide to load. There it is. So this one's by XM, talking about the media. This one's really good. This guy's saying, unfortunately, he hates the Islamic Republic media at this point. He's saying, unfortunately, I have to follow the news from enemy sites because Iranian news outlets never tell the truth. The truth is revealed only when the whole world knows everything, and then we know it last. Then they publish it. For example, news of a ceasefire first, Trump announced it a week later, and now Iran says whatever they say, and it happens the same way. That's a little bit of a rough translation at the end, but I also wanted to show you guys this because some of them are waking up to the fact that they're not getting the proper news and information. They might be misinformed, and their views might be misinformed. So across the board over the past couple of months, I'm just seeing more and more wake-up calls to a lot of these regime supporters. But I'll also show you guys a message in a couple, one of them here, that prove that there is nothing you can do about some of these people. This one is going to be about the massacre in January, about the Iranian people. This person is saying, this one is, I don't think he's necessarily part of the Iranian people who want the Islamic Republic gone, but he's also waking up to the fact that the Islamic Republic is a bloodthirsty regime. So someone, Muhammad, is making fun of the counter and saying that, oh my God, yeah, just say 450,000 people died instead. Your Iran International is like fake news, this and that. This guy comes out and saying, with that small brain of yours, you can probably still count the number of bodies that were piled up in the trucks, in garbage bags, and in the halls of cemeteries, and you will see that there are more than 3,000. It won't be long before God will answer you, bloodthirsty criminals, who skied on the blood of so many people. We saw with our own eyes that the government had killed people with guns and bullets. Now you cover it up until time will prove you wrong. That's a regime supporter, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you sure it's a regime supporter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a regime supporter. Most people in here are regime supporters, except for the few who I look at their profile, and all their messages are just like, you know, F you, Islamic Republic, stuff like that, or you guys are stuff like that. And the admins go take them down.
This sounds like somebody on our side who went in here to share some of his views.
It might. I'm leaning more towards these people just not going into these political group discussions and bothering to type messages, but you never know. You never know.
Because I think maybe Ali, maybe you made this group famous, and now more people are going in there to share their.
Oh no.
I think more
Maybe.
people from our side. Maybe I think because before originally you went in there, it was just mostly like like pro regime stuff. But now the commentary, a lot of it sounds like it's on our side. Maybe it's you basically, you expose them, and now there's more people there trying to go and fight these people.
Guys, like in the beginning, all I read is just, praise to Allah and, kill the Americans and this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to read hundreds of these messages to get through to like someone with brain cells that are saying something of importance. And now it's actually happening a lot more. So maybe Armin's right. Maybe the Iranian people are in there.
Yeah, maybe I think it's because maybe you kept on advertising this group to people from our side. I think that's why it's now full of these people.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We have someone else here, Amir. While we would translate this into English.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, you're right. Okay, no, that's a new one. Okay, never mind. Inter Ashghal. So just for the you know what Inter Ashghal means, right?
The Iran International. Yeah.
Yes. So they just changed it to say garbage, like
garbage,
garbage
international,
garbage international.
Yeah, exactly. So this person's quite mad at someone saying, well, there's no more after 7 months of deaths. I don't like actually we'll produce this message for you guys as well so we can see that. Why is my internet being a little slow here? Come on. There we go. Let's take a look at what he's responding to. So this person, again, is making fun of the Iranian People's massacre, saying pretty much that it's, Iran International is saying 3,000 deaths. They actually did not say that. Murad Vaisi reads the names of the slain Iranian people, and he said that I alone have only recorded 3,000 names. There's much more. The Islamic Republic took that clip, cut it off right there where he says I have 3,000 names, and is saying, look, even the opposition is saying 3,000 people. And these guys, some of them are contesting that point. So in response to that, this guy's saying, dude, do you think everyone is going to be watching or sending messages to Iran International? Do you think everyone watches Iran International? No. Many people who watch Iran International were protesters of the Iranian people, of just the population. They had nothing to do with foreign networks. Also, 3,000 is not a small number. In the 40-day war, with thousands of tons of bombs dropped on the country by US and Israel, we had about 3,000 deaths, many of whom were Basij military. Then in 2 nights, 3,000 is called mass murder. If, as the government says, terrorists caused it, then it's still the government's fault for failing to ensure the security of the people. So this guy's saying, first of all, it's not 3,000, but let's just say it was. Really? 3,000? Is that what a government's supposed to do? In 2 nights? America bombed us for 40 days and killed mostly militants, about 3,000. You guys killed innocent people in 2 nights. And even if they were terrorists, how did you let them in? Is the country really that unsafe to let thousands and thousands of terrorists in? So I particularly liked that message. What do you think about that?
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty spot on.
Pretty spot on, yeah. It's good that these people don't have a safe space anymore to go with their nonsense.
Yeah. And we have this one. So, guys, the classic insult that these regime supporters throw at each other, as soon as there's something that is different than what they think, they're like, you're brainwashed, you're a Mossad agent, you're a Pahlavi, you're a this, you're that. So this guy's responding and saying, humans are not toys that can just get lost all of a sudden. Like there's traces. Everyone has friends, family, and a whole bunch of other people that know them. So the identities of the dead and slain Iranian people cannot be hidden. So let's make a list of the dead people and see if it's more than 3,000 or not. Of course, I just said this for those who want to understand, not for those who are just trying to be quiet. That is an important piece here. This statement right here. This person, Mohammed, is saying in this group chat, in the IRGC group chat, he's bringing up the point that, hey, you can check the death records. You can talk to people who know people. They will tell you that it's way more than 3,000. But I'm specifically saying this for people who are curious, those Islamic Republic supporters who don't know any better. I want to say it for them, and not for the ones who do know and are trying to be quiet and not say anything about it. There is another one here. We have two more for you guys. Talking about the negotiations and the Houthis. So once again, there was talk of ceasefire, peace, negotiation, and agreement, but the unfortunate people of Iran should see the light of day, peace and tranquility. Some warmongers again got angry and started cursing the officials, saying, why do you want to negotiate and agree? Well, which warmongering country has fought until the day of judgment that makes us to be the second ones? Do you guys want to fight till the day of judgment? Every war has negotiations and agreements. That's how they end. This is a regime supporter who's bringing the day of judgment. So the 12-er Shia Islam mentality is that one day the Mahdi will show up and take over the world and the Shias will win and this and that. We have to keep on fighting until that day. This guy's saying we're tired. And he's right. In 1 year, the Islamic Republic has dragged the Iranian people into 3 wars. They're absolutely tired. They're sick and tired of it. So I actually think the Houthi supporter is this one. So I labeled them here for you guys. So let's see what Mohammad Reza has to say. Ah, yes, the great IRGC Navy. Farce News posts a piece of news, and they say the Houthis did this. You know, the Yemeni armed forces said that the Houthis blew up this and they did that. And this regime supporter comes forward and says, mashallah. Again, mashallah to you. Some of our diplomatic officials are either asleep or cowardly. So he's calling out the Islamic Republic government, saying they're sleeping cowardly. Therefore, because our government is cowardly, our only hope in the Islamic Republic is the IRGC, especially the Navy. Now, I don't know what Navy he's talking about. If anyone knows in the chat, please let me know. I haven't really seen a Navy in about 5 months, actually, to this day. Today's July 27th. That's funny. I have not seen a Navy in about 5 months. So if he knows something I don't, I'm kind of wondering. And then we have our last one here. Today in the Islamic Republic, they are cracking down more than ever, or more in the past few months, on people who are not wearing hijab. And this has caused me to be quite worried about the people that I know in Iran. And they're also cracking down on parties and gatherings, music playing at cafes, and etc. They are arresting people. Today, they busted a party of 110 young people. And the news agency spread this information, and they even they put charges of narcotics and drugs and etc. on these youth to justify them arresting them. So this is not real. The youth, you know, they're doing nothing wrong. It's just a party. This guy came out and said, "Good job. You must have given 110 young people the worst memories of their life, and for the rest of their life, you turned what was just a simple party into a reason and turning point in their hostility and opposition to the government, Islam, and made Pahlavi their savior." And it's completely true. By arresting the youth, by suppressing them, the Islamic Republic always turns these people not only against the government, but also Islam. Armin, don't you agree that most people who have left Iran, especially in the last 15 years, who have immigrated out of Iran, you know, saying that they don't like Islam is an understatement, isn't it?
Oh my God, yes. Iran is the Islamophobia capital of the world. But Ali, here's a question for you. The Islamic Republic uses stupid, but it's not stupid. They know what they're doing. Given that these kids are going to turn against the Islamic Republic and they're going to cause more hate against the Islamic Republic and bigger uprisings in the future, why do this? Why do this now?
To make an example out of them,
Yeah, but why?
to
To what end?
find a reason to execute them, scare the Iranian people. That could be one of the ways.
But what would that achieve, though? How would that make you survive longer?
How would scaring the Iranian people make them survive longer?
So the Islamic Republic knows that these types of behavior causes more anger than fear. They have a record.
Correct.
They have a history of that. So if you're hoping fear, yeah, you get fear, you get anger. The anger is bigger than the fear. So that it's the net result is negative. So what you described is 100% true, but it's short term.
Guys, we're about to get a master lesson here.
But it's a short term result that the Islamic Republic is concerned about. So what you're saying will cost the Islamic Republic years down the road, right? The Islamic Republic cannot afford to think about long term. It has immediate problems. So that person that you showed was correct. Like, these people are going to become more pro-Pahlavi, more anti-Islamic Republic, more frustrated, more for regime change. Okay, but that's a price that the Islamic Republic knows that is paying and is willing to pay, because it right now is dealing with a crisis of legitimacy. Right now, the pro-regime, Islamically minded jihadis need something to show that the Islamic Republic is still on their side. So we, on the Persian channel, we predicted that the Islamic Republic probably soon is going to come back, because hijab hasn't been a major thing that the Islamic Republic has been enforcing, pardoning these things. We predicted that this is the time that the Islamic Republic is going to probably go back to some hijab enforcement, crashing parties, arresting people for having a different lifestyle, because it needs to give these people who are thinking that they're losing the Islamic Republic and it's becoming a Zionist, un-Islamic, anti-supreme leader regime something to be happy about. And not only that, remember, there's 3 things that frustrates these people. 4. Hijab enforcement and other lifestyle related stuff that is not happening by the Islamic Republic. Inability to respond to Israel. Inability to respond to United States. Not enough executions. Right? These 4 things frustrates the pro-regime jihadi Islamic minded people. Right? Right now, the focus of the frustration is on United States and Israel, the MOU, the negotiations, right? If I'm Ghalibaf, that's an attack on me. If I'm Ghalibaf, I'd rather these people go back to focusing on, oh no, so many women are not wearing hijab right now. Focus on being angry about that. Let's complain about that more. I mean, both of them. Don't I want when people come out in the streets to say no to the MOU. Also, women are naked, and by naked they mean their hair is short. Did you know that when these people are protesting, why are women naked? By naked they mean their hair is short. Women are naked, the government is that. So I want to mix up protests. I don't want just people complaining about the MOU and negotiations, so that at least I could then arrest a couple of kids having fun, put them in a van and be record them, put them out there. Yeah, I don't even need to put them out there. Somebody will record it. It will go viral. People will complain about it. These people will get off my back a little bit.
So disgusting. They've been doing that for decades.
That's evil, but it's smart.
It's an evil smart. It's an evil smart. Man. Okay, thank you for giving insight on that.
This is why
yeah,
one last thing, sorry. This is why if you look at the chants in the streets now, I have some videos of it, right? If you look at the chants in the streets, for so many months, these people were not talking about, oh no, hijab, where's hijab? Why there's no hijab? And now they're chanting that again. As if the MOU negotiations are becoming like a little bit, somebody is trying to make them a secondary thing. So if you listen to the chants, some of them are shifting. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, that's the same reason they turn on the internet, a lot of people think, right? To give them a unified front to fight other people instead of fracturing within. The internet turns on, the Islamic Republic can band together and fight the evil Zionists and Americans and pro-Pahlavi. This is another tactic like that. I'm not saying that was the only reason they turned on the internet on, but one of them. Yeah, thank you for that. Definitely learned something that I couldn't quite connect there. With that, I think we should go into the super chats here. Let me get a quick look at the news to see if anything significant happened. So guys, again, just the Islamic Republic has launched multiple waves of drones into Iraq targeting the Kurds. So it's not really a ceasefire here. And we do have confirmation that Prime Minister Netanyahu is now in Joint Base Andrews. It's where all the major military decisions of the United States are made. I'm sure nothing crazy is going to happen there, where Donald Trump makes his big military decisions and Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting him at right now. I'm sure nothing's going on there, right, guys? Right? Yep. Dominic Spencer became a YouTube member. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate you and welcome on board. And Saber Coaching saying 4 people about to be publicly unalived in Esfahan. Yeah, I hope Ali can send us that.
Ali did not send me.
Also, Saber, if you could also send me the link, maybe on School, I'll take a look. If you can send me that, it'd be greatly appreciated. Or someone can, anyone. Thank you for reminding us, Saber. And Biz Endricist is saying Javid Shah, Payende Iran. That's what we say at the end. Thank you, Fizz Endricist. Javid Shah.
I'll go and find the 4.
Okay, thank you. And Lior saying, congrats on reaching over 4K. You're killing it, bro. Guys, Can you believe it? I got 4,000 subscribers. We did it. We're there. We can pack it up.
Wait, Ali, I found it.
Thank you so much, Leo. Okay, sweet. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say.
Thank you, Leo.
Leo's been keeping an eye too, so thank you so much.
Ali deserves it. Ali deserves it. Make sure you subscribe to Ali. He's doing great work.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
An iron scaffold erected Monday in the central Iranian city of Esfahan has raised fears that authorities are preparing to publicly execute more protesters arrested during January's nationwide unrest, sources told Iran International. This is going to be a public execution. Jesus Christ.
So disgusting.
Let me see if I could get their names. Jesus Christ. The scaffold was installed in Ali Khani Square, where protests erupted on January 8th. So they're going to do the executions where the protests were, so people could see what happens. 12 young men convicted in what became known as the Ali Khani Square case were sentenced to death. 2 of them, Gul Muhammad Mohammadi and Irfan Esfandiari, were executed on July 19th. Witness accounts circulating on social media described Ali Khani Square as being under heavy security on Monday night. A source close to the family of Amir Hossein Safari, another A defendant in the case told Iran International that relatives had been summoned to Isfahan Central Prison for what they believe could be a final visit. Some protesters don't even get the final visit; they just get the news that we executed them. The concerns were echoed by prominent Iranian activist Mehdi Mahmoudian, who wrote on X that several families of the 10 remaining death row prisoners in Ali Khani Square case had also been instructed to report to the prison for final visits. Mahmoudian identified cousins Ali Reza Sepahi and Albolfaz Sepahi among those facing what he described as an imminent risk of execution. He also noted that 2 other defendants in the case had already been executed. The visible deployment of security forces around the scaffold has further fueled fears that additional executions could be carried out publicly. Iranian authorities accuse the defendants. Okay, I'm not going to read. Let me just read
They
it.
accused them of that?
Bullshit.
Look at what they accused them.
The lies.
Of
Lies.
eliminating Basiji, burning things down and destroying.
I mean, if they did that, first of all, the Islamic Republic lies all the time, so we don't know. But if they did
Complete
that,
lies.
they're here. I mean, but even if they did, that makes them heroes. They're killing terrorists. Arson, vandalism, bull crap. Lies. Anyways.
You're saying so the Islamic Republic, wow, your highly trained paramilitary force and special forces were taken down by 2 teenagers, right? While your forces had weapons and they didn't. Absolutely possible. It's just such, I mean, they don't even bother. It's just so disgusting. You know who's quiet about this? All of the international rights, human rights organizations, all of the aid organizations are all completely quiet. Completely quiet this entire year about this. They don't say a thing. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
It is.
All right, we will continue on with the super chats. And Fizz Endricist is saying, hit the like and subscribe button on both channels. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the best Iran analysis anywhere on the internet, and we also tie in everything in the Middle East. Go live every single day, cover everything that's happened. So if you guys would like to click on that subscribe button, you will be informed when the war that is about to happen is going to happen and what it's going to mean and how Iran's going to be freed, possibly even the timeline as we get closer to it as well. So thank you so much, Fizz Entrisist, for that super chat. Really appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
And Lior says, Fleshy's not here yet, so getting us kicked off. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Thank you.
I still remember when Lior switched her profile picture from the dog, from the puppy to the puppy with the lion sun flag.
Cute. I loved it. It happened. It was so cute.
Yeah. Thank you. John Bond says, U.S. military can do this for that. Yeah, that's just, yeah, absolutely. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. You know, they don't work for free. They work for their interests. It's the military of a country.
Yep.
Absolutely, John. Thank you for that super chat. And Sarah Ocean saying, Ali, you're looking exceptionally handsome today, bro.
Oh, wow.
Thank you so much. What about Armin? Thank you, Sarah. Really appreciate that. Who also said, I can send super chats again. Love you, Armin. Oh, there we go.
Love you, Sarah.
There we go. Thank you very much, Sarah. Very, very kind, sis. And Ellie saying, blasts in Bandar Abbas, a wave of drones hit the Erbil region, and 2 drones intercepted at Israel's borders. Houthis claim strike on Saudi facility. That's why we should have Ellie up here with us.
Yep.
Thank you.
Join us, Ellie.
Yeah. Yeah, we got all that covered, actually, except for the 2 drones. So Ellie actually did a better job than us. The 2 drones were launched by, I think it was Iraqi militias towards Israel. and they were intercepted. Yeah, it's kind of being shoved under the rug, though. It's being swept under the rug. Thank you, Ellie, for that update.
Thank you.
And Eric Henderson saying Trump and Bibi are going to do a layer attack. That way it lasts longer. I actually think the exact opposite. I think it's going to be very, very compressed and extremely intense 24 hours. 24 hours of the day. I think it's going to be like that.
I just hope that whenever they go in, they don't just do another peeling of the onion. Burn the onion. Don't do another layer of leadership. Just burn it.
Yeah,
like you were
exactly.
saying, slice it, dice it. Yes.
Slice and dice, yeah. Yeah, but I need to see those militias get further degraded. But it could be possible if they strike all the Basij police headquarters and armories and everything that they use to suppress the people. That could also be great. I hope they do that. That's going to be the first thing we look out for is like, what are they hitting? Which will indicate a lot to us. But hey, Eric, seems like we're on the same side. We both want that to happen. And thank you for the super chat, Eric. Thank you, Cap, for the jewels. Appreciate that. And Fleshy Interloper saying, maybe the wind really is changing. Javid Shah.
Javid Shah.
Yeah. Absolutely. The winds are definitely changing. We've covered all of it. We've covered all of it from the reason why the MOU happened, what happened to the proxies as a result of the MOU, to the money that's being squeezed out of the Islamic Republic. We're watching live how they're crumbling down. Thank you for the super chat, Fleshy. And Kevin Shaw says, I love this international chat. Oh, yeah, I think Kevin really liked when we talked about all the different countries and how they work together there. It's just so complicated. That's why I don't want more countries getting involved, per se, in this war with the Islamic Republic, because every country has their own priorities and objectives and just gets more complicated. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
And Nollybug saying, even in heaven, you're a king. Javid Shah.
Javid Shah.
Thank you, Nolly. Javid Shah. We always appreciate super chats like that. And Nima Farce is saying, Ali, go ahead and curse. I'll cover the damages, lol. I don't know. It's expensive. Damages. My mom's going to be like, what are you saying? Thank you, Nima. And Ellie Goldman saying, Iran sends weapons to Russia so they can attack Ukraine, which makes Ukraine intercept the weapons, resulting in the Islamic Republic crying about it. You can't make this up. Yep.
Yeah, the Islamic Republic has been indirectly attacking Ukraine for so many years. It's about time Ukraine finally give them a response.
And then they came out and said, the United Nations, Ukraine's hitting us. Shut up. Thank you, Ellie.
So, Ali, before you read the last one, the next one, sorry. Ali from Inside Iran sent me some information regarding the execution.
Thank you, Ali from Inside Iran.
So, thank you, Ali from Inside Iran. Let me go over these. So we already saw this. These are the pictures of the three: Amir Hossein Safari, Abul Faz Sepahi, Ali Reza Sepahi. The news is that they're about to get executed. And here's the thing. This is the pictures of people. The metal. What is it called? The metal
scaffolding.
Scaffolding for the execution. People are saying that it's being put into place. So people from around there are sending pictures, saying. They're basically put in there to hang the protesters. The cranes to hang. Yeah, these are the cranes that they hang the protesters from. And so many people are noticing them, and they're sending pictures and videos. So it's going to be a public execution, it seems. Let me see more videos. So many people are around there noticing that something is about to happen. People are gathering there because the reason why people are gathering is so people look at this. It's getting crowded because people think something is about to happen, and they're trying to show up to, I don't know. Here's another video of people gathering around. So
I think they
like,
need
this
to
is
show
where
up.
they're going. I don't know. So people are thinking something is about to happen here.
Those boys had these people's backs on January 8th and 9th. Now I think it's the people's turn to be there for them.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because the regime wants a gathering. Because the regime wants a big gathering. The regime is going to say these people are here to celebrate the execution. So if they're there, they need to chant against it.
They need to chant.
I don't know. I don't know what the orders are. I don't know what the recommendations are.
Oh, man.
So
that's those two, the middle picture and the right picture of those guys. Those are first cousins. That's a generation of that family, the Sepahi family, being wiped out.
guys, I want you to understand something for people who might be new here. The execution is not just an execution, it's torture. Because let me explain the way that Iran executes. When you see people being hanged, you might think like, I don't know, in the Wild West, where you see then they put the noose around someone's neck and there's a trapdoor underneath their feet that opens and then you fall and then your neck breaks. That usually kills people fast. That's not what the Islamic Republic does. They put the noose around your neck. It's connected to a crane, and then they lift it, so you don't drop. You don't have that sudden drop that breaks the neck. You get suffocated slowly. Sometimes it takes up to 20 minutes for people to die. 20 minutes, and they have a doctor that keeps going there and checking to see when you die. The pressure on the neck is so much. There was one person that chewed out their tongue because of the pressure that they were feeling on their neck. Your last experience in life is the most painful death. So they're saying in a matter of hours, these people are going, and they're doing it publicly. And Ali, they must be fearing an uprising, because they did a couple of executions before, and it wasn't a public one. They hanged them in private. They're doing this right in the square where the revolution was happening, when the uprising. They're doing the execution right in the square where the uprising was the biggest. So this is a message. The Islamic Republic must have some information, and they're scared of an uprising. So they're doing this to scare people.
I've heard that in the Telegram channels over the past 48 hours, there's been a lot of calls to come out again. But I don't know how true that is. I haven't been able to verify it myself. This is so disgusting. That could be me. It really could.
Guys, these are not average people. These are heroes. These are people who knew what the price that they were aware of the price that they could be paying, and they came out to liberate their country. They came out to liberate their country.
Absolutely. And this is a super chat we need to read right now. Saber Coaching. We failed to mention this. Saber Coaching is saying very few survive, hence because of the triple sentencing. So the people that you see, thank you for that super chat, by the way, Saber Coaching. The people you see on the screen are sentenced to 2 or 3 death executions. By the way, it's always at least 2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's saying that there's a small percentage that don't even die. So they give you 3 death sentences. So in case you survive one of them, they do it again.
Yeah. These are the same people. The Islamic Republic are the same people that the Democrats and the leftists love, by the way. Saying Iran did nothing wrong. Talk about the Islamic Republic. Again, Ali and Iran, thank you for sending this to us. And we hope you guys see this and you realize just how brave the Iranian people are and just how terrified the Islamic Republic is of them. All right. With that, we will continue on with the super chats. And our next one is from Eliani FC saying, rumor is that Burnham is Trump's man, unconfirmed. So I assume Burnham is the new prime minister of the United Kingdom. And it seems like it, although I've heard there's some controversial things surrounding him with domestic policy, but it does seem like he's Trump's man. I think the crown of the United Kingdom had something to do with this. I think they pulled some weight here. Thank you for that super chat, Eliani. And Kevin Shaw says, love you guys. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
you for your support, Kevin. Kevin also gave us confetti and claps. Thank you very much. I think Kevin liked today's show, apparently. He liked today's show.
Yes. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Kevin. And Channel saying 400,000 / 1.5 thousand. Israel should publicly announce investment in Ukraine capacity to 4,000 and ship it to friends in Iran. Get the idea? Do you get the idea?
No. Let me see.
Oh, I think when I was saying that Romania spent $400,000 per missile to shoot down the 3 Shahed drones, and it only costs thousands for Ukraine to, build a drone. So maybe Israel should invest in Ukraine, get some drones, and then send it to their operatives in Iran. I think that's what Channel is saying. I'm not quite sure though. Channel, is that what you're saying?
So these are Israelis interceptor missiles like Tamir, Iron Dome, or Arrow are vastly more expensive. They're roughly $400,000 per unit compared to the estimated 1.5 thousand to 4,000 production cost of long-range attack drones like Shahed drones. Here's the proposal. Instead of Israelis spending $400,000 per missile to shoot down cheap drones, Israel should fund Ukraine's domestic drone production capacity to ramp up manufacturing to 4,000 units. The goal is to send those cheap Ukrainian-built drones directly to anti-regime forces or friendly proxies inside and around Iran to strike back at the source at a fraction of the cost.
Gotcha. It's a great idea. Lower the cost. It's also dangerous. I mean, where's warfare heading? I think the days where you're going to have soldiers on a battlefield is going to be soon behind us here. Maybe another 10 years. And thank you, Channel, for that super chat. Really appreciate that. And Bo, thank you for the jewels. Aryan of Persia. Let's see what his great question is today. Saying, how and why have parental memories and intergenerational trauma contributed to shaping and consolidating the sense of national identity of diasporic Iranians born after the revolution? Sorry. So, for example, my parents left Iran, and the moment they left Iran and came here to the United States, and I was born and raised, I'm born and raised with the traditions and values of an Iran from 30 years ago. I'm not raised with the traditional values of today. It's 30 years ago. Whenever they left Iran, and that is generally how it is for most diaspora as well. So our national and cultural identity was already formed around the fact that the Shah made us what we were back then. Added on top of that, the alternative was what? The Islamic Republic. And we all know what that's like. We all turned away from that pretty soon. So a lot of diasporic Iranians are very proud that they're Iranian, or they say Persian. And of course, they hate the Islamic Republic. And we've never have I seen us be this unified.
Let me read this as well. How and why have parental memories and intergenerational trauma contributed to shaping and consolidating the sense of national culture identity of diasporic Iranians born after the revolution? One thing that I notice is how their parents and our grandparents are shocked about and impressed sometimes, many times, of how a young generation of Iranian that never met Pahlavi fell in love with Pahlavi. And it makes them ashamed because they're looking at these young kids who are obsessed with Pahlavi, who never had Pahlavi, and they feel like we had Pahlavi. We experienced Pahlavi and we let it go. And these people who never, they understand through research and documentaries, and they're impressed of how this younger generation sees it so clearly, but when we lived it, we weren't seeing it. And when they look at the older generation, when it looks at the younger generation, they feel ashamed that they let that go, and they ask for forgiveness, and they also fall back in love with Pahlavi through the younger generation. They see back, like they lived Iran when Pahlavi rule was when Pahlavi was ruling, but they weren't, because they lived through it. So many of them didn't see it through the perspective of now how everybody is remembering it, and they have some nostalgia, but they also are reliving it through the perception of the younger generation, looking back and looking at something that they never experienced, and they looking at their parents and grandparents and like, you had all of this, what did you do? Like, what did you do? So that's something. There is a lot of shame and guilt, but there's also a desire, a huge that what bonds everybody inside and outside, younger generation and older generation, a desire to go back to Pahlavi. That's what bonds us. And for a lot of Iranian, Pahlavi and Iran are basically now the same thing, because the only way to save Iran is with Pahlavi.
Yeah. People who can't see that are part of the problem. Thank you for the great question again, Aryan.
Thank you.
Always with good questions. And Fleshy Interloper saying here, just watching the Jays. Or they're playing again. I thought they played like yesterday or something. Time's flying.
Blue Jays!
It's Armin's first ever sports team that he supports.
Yes.
Is it just because of Fleshy? Okay, yes, just.
I support Fleshy. So if he supports them, I support them as well.
Gotcha. Thank you, Fleshy, for the super chat. And Nechma saying, nothing to say. I just love supporting you guys.
No.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Well, we have all the things to say for you. And hopefully we get some of these results soon. Thank you, Nechma. As a reminder, Netanyahu is speaking to Trump probably as we are speaking right now. Let's see what comes of it. Thank you for the super chat. And Joanne says, I feel sick in my stomach literally watching what those bastards do. So sad. Yeah. Here's the, like, I don't want to talk about revenge or anything like that, openly here, but there is no place on this planet that will be safe for them to go. No matter how long it takes, no matter where they go. Thank you, Joanne. We feel the same. And Don B is saying, did you see Iran International Also, the terrorists are sending out instructions to eliminate Barron and Melania. How does Trump think these are reasonable people? So, Armin, remember that one time I showed you that video where they were going through detail on how to get to Trump? Like with his like
Yeah.
routine and scheduling, you know, where he lives and grew up and everything like that. They did the same thing for his wife and children.
Just end them already. Just
Just
end
end them.
them. President
Yep.
Trump, just end them. For your own family, at least.
Yeah. That makes actually everyone in his family, except for one of his sons, be threatened directly now. His wife, his kids, his son, daughter, himself. Well, yep, everyone. Yeah, Don, I did see. I just don't want YouTube to think that we're pushing that kind of thing out. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And Saber Coaching, we got this one about the triple sentencing. It's just it is truly a bastard move. Thank you for that super chat.
What did he say? What did it say?
So Saber was reminding us that when we were showing the hangings that are going to happen, that they triple sentence them in case they don't die the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you played it.
Yeah.
You read that.
And our next super chat is from Sarah Ocean saying, "Strength for our heroes. May they be spared somehow." Yeah. Those are our best, bravest, and brightest, by the way. You're not going to get those type of quality young men like that. It's hard. It's hard to come by.
They don't
you,
just
Sarah.
take from us. The Islamic Republic doesn't just take from us. They take the best from us. Our best from us.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, for that reminder.
Yeah.
And Joanne says, confetti, but sad confetti. Yeah, we have the sad confetti today. Thank you, Joanne. Really appreciate you. And for trying to cheer us up as well. And Kevin Shaw says, Addie, can we see your kitty, please? For being happy. Yeah, he's sleeping. I don't want to wake him up. But tomorrow I'll show him earlier before he takes a nap. And thank you, Kevin, for that super chat. I'll remember that. And Arazu is saying fire was discharged around outside the U.S. consulate in Toronto again. By the way, thank you. I'm fine and appreciate my new family for all the prayers. Yeah, where are your new family? And I think her car, the brakes didn't work, and she got into an accident a few days ago. So I'm glad that you're doing better now. And you're also right. So there were some shots fired outside of the U.S. consulate in Canada and Toronto today. I'm not sure what came of it, but yeah, I've had a chance to look.
Hope you're doing okay, Arzu.
Hope you're doing good. Thank you for that. And Kevin Shaw is saying, Armin, can we please see your puppies?
They're
We
not.
gotta bring them tomorrow.
They're at my other place, and it's not like I'm not in control of where they are. Usually at this time they're at my other place, but if sometimes they're here. If they're ever here, if they're here, they would be knocking at the door trying to get in because they miss me. So they're always like when they come home, they run upstairs and they're like they knock the door because they want to see me. So I love them so much.
The animals.
They love me so much. I like that about them, that they miss me. Like that's so sweet.
Mm. That's nice. All right, Kevin, we'll remember just for you. Thank you for the super chat. And Ariane is saying, thank you both so much. Brilliant perspectives from both of you. Good question.
Thank you, Ariane. Great, brilliant questions from you.
Yeah. And Jagatai is saying, I see you cry inside for Javidnams, and I cry with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jagatai.
Thank you, Jagatai. Thank you.
Appreciate you. And our last super chat from Curtis saying, I want to see them go after the high-value regime leaders again, and please find a way to supply the people so they can finish the job. Prince Firzapatov, he's on the job. He's on the case, actually. So
I want them to go
The-
after the high value, low value,
Galiba.
mid value, everybody. No, not Ghalibab, everybody, just everybody. First layer, second layer, third layer, all the way to, I mean, first and second are dead. Third to seventh, and the commanders, the regional commander, 32 regional commanders of IRGC, just ended already. They're like, but we don't have enough missile interceptors. You wouldn't need them if there's nobody to shoot missiles at you.
Best offense is a good defense.
No, best defense is a good offense. So
Or best defense is a good offense.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. My brain's misfunctioning.
It's okay. Thank you, Curtis.
There we go. Thank you, Curtis. And whoever they don't get, we will. Okay, so guys, with that, we will be here same time tomorrow to give you the other 24 hours of updates. We had some pretty good things happen today, some pretty big news. We're waiting to see what comes out of Trump and Netanyahu's meeting. We're waiting to see the Iranian people and see what they are doing. Wait, what? Right. So with all of that, please remember to subscribe to both of our channels, and we will be here tomorrow. We have another super chat from Joanne. Thank you. Saying, Armin, can you show us your goat to cheer us up?
Thank you for calling it a goat. Thank you, Joanne.
Guys, is that a goat?
That's a goat. Shh, that's a goat. I saved it from the Muslims. Yes. There you go. It's hiding in my home to protect it from the Muslims. Thank you. No Muslims in my house.
Thank you, Joanne. That did cheer us up. So
Yes.
let's see what happens tomorrow with the meeting. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of press. There's the funeral of Senator Lindsey Graham tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of things happening from now on. So let's keep an eye out for that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Wait.
with more
Let
analysis
me
and breaking
put,
news.
guys, wait. Look at this.
Oh, yeah. Check this out.
Breaking news. Breaking
Boom.
news. Ali have 4,000 subscribers.
4,000 subscribers.
Good job, Ali. I'm going to post the link to his put the link to his YouTube channel in the chat to get him
Thank
to 100,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Hopefully
And
soon.
Armin's is going to be in the chat as well. Just wait one second for that.
There
Guys,
you
I
go.
posted Alligrams on YouTube, and it got like 30,000 views. I was like, I had no idea. Like, I never would have thought that you guys liked those so much. But trust me, I
That's pretty good.
definitely found out a few days ago. Because people
Yeah,
in the
you
group
need to
discussion are
cut-
like, hey, you got to do that. You got to do that.
You know, people, when you cut the stream into different segments and you post them, then you could see which parts are doing the best
True.
and which people want them more of it in the stream.
True.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So the link to both of our channels is in the description. And with that,
We'll see you guys. Oh, nope.
Oh.
We got 10 joules from Jagatai. Thank you.
Jules.
Jagatai. 10 joules. And guys, with that, we'll see you guys same time tomorrow. And until then. Oh, wait,
I'm
we
Jagatai.
forgot the monkey. No. We
Oh,
forgot the
no.
monkey. Guys, monkey's channel. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me. Okay, he's gonna kill me. Monkey.
Guys,
So-
the monkey had a good stream
Okay.
last night.
Yes,
He brought
did.
on Jeffrey.
Yes. Guys, go watch it. He's doing really good. Go subscribe to his channel. All right, guys, link in the chat. He's gonna have it probably in the stream coming up soon. And I hope he sees this. I hope he sees this last part. He probably closed the stream like, Armin forgot. He's gonna message me about it. Got it. All right, guys. See you same time tomorrow. And until then, I'm Israel Chai. Slava Ukraine.
Cuba
Cuba
Libre.
Libre.
Long,
Long
live
live
America.
America. Javid Shah.
Payende
Payende.
Iran.
Iran. Mwah. See you guys.